lesson, I want to talk about clefs and how they work. Now, you've probably heard the term treble clef, bass clef. There's the alto, tenor clef, C-clef. And I want to take the mystery out of that. Now, in the previous lesson, we talked about how the music alphabet works and how it works on the staff. And if we decided to make this line a G, then we would know the name of every single line in space on this staff right here. So, and if that's a G, then we determined that this fourth line here in the bottom was an F. So, interestingly enough then, this is what happens all the time. In most music, you will have that second line being a G and the fourth line down here being an F. And it's really easy to see that because I have the second line marked as a G and the fourth line down here marked as an F. But what a lot of people don't really realize is when you're looking at music, they are marked. And so I want to show you what these marks look like in music. So down here, let's start down here at the F. Now, the F is just a letter, and it tells us that line is F. Now, it looks a little different when you're looking at actual sheet music. And here's what happened. Over the years and years ago, there were no copy machines, no computers, but there was still music. People were writing music and they wrote it out by hand. Sometimes maybe if they got lucky they had a scribe or someone who could write their stuff for them. But regardless, if you're writing for an orchestra and you're having to write every piece by hand, after a while your hand's gonna kind of get tired and you might get a little sloppy. So here's what happened. When people began putting the F down here on their music and the G up there, they wrote them a little different. And so the F ended up looking something like this. Let me just erase that little bit there. Okay, so what they did was, and you might be used to seeing this, kind of a dot there, big kind of a fat red nose there, and then that. And that looks more music-y, doesn't it? Are you used to seeing that? Yeah. You know what that is? It's supposed to be an F. That's all it's supposed to be. Now it looks kind of like an ear or a half a heart or something, but if we study just a little closer, let's check it out. What would happen if I actually connected those dots like that? Now it looks a little bit more like a fancy F with a big red nose. So all that is an F. And it's saying that the fourth line there is an F. And we also call that the bass clef or the F-clef. So bass meaning lower notes. The lower notes are written in the bass. That just makes sense. Or in the F-clef. Okay, so let's look up here at the G. Now, this is a G, of course, but you're probably more used to seeing in music that G actually looks like that. That is called a treble clef, but it's just supposed to be a G. And over the years, it ended up looking like that for some reason or other. If you look really close, you can see a G inside it. If you kind of take that top off and kind of see that swirl a little bit, you can kind of see where, yeah, I could see where that was kind of supposed to be a G. And it marks that second line. That second line's a G. But here's another cool little piece of information about this G. Not only does it mark the second line G, But you see this space right here? This space right here above the fifth line, that's a G too. So we can look inside up here and determine, oh, there's a G, that marks the G here, and the second line here is a G. So it's just two letters, a G and an F. And that's all they are, and that's what they do. They show us this second line's a G, that top space is a G, and you got the really fat red dot on the fourth line here, and you have these two other little dots on either side of the fourth line. It's like a light saying, this is F. And that's all they do. And now we can figure out where everything else goes, because we know where the F and the G are.